Assalamu alaikum everyone. I hope you guys are good. This is Khushbakht. Today we'll talk about some NUST entry test past paper questions which are related to the topic analytic geometry. So let's get started. I am going to share the questions in a bit. Okay, so I've shared the questions. You would be able to see that in some time. Right, so let's get started. Okay, now here's the first question. It says centroid of a triangle with vertices 2, 3, minus 1, 6, and 7, 5 is what? For centroid, we have a fixed formula. We know that for centroid, we follow 2:1. So whenever we have been asked to find the centroid, we find both the x coordinates and the y coordinates. And this is divided by 3. This is also divided by 3. And in the numerators, we add all the x coordinates of the vertices. And this would be 3 plus 6 plus 5. And finally, we are going to get 8 by 3 divided by 14 by 3. So this means that the answer is C. Now, this was a very simple question. The only thing is that we should be knowing all the formulas. So for centroid, we add all the x coordinates of the vertices, divide that by 3. Then y coordinates of the vertices, divide that by 3, and then you get your answer. Okay, let's see what we have next. Okay. Now the next question is about slope of a line parallel to y-axis. Now obviously if we have a line that is parallel to y-axis, it is going to have the slope just like the slope of y-axis. And if I talk about the slope of y-axis, that is infinite. So we say it is undefined, okay, because we claim that infinity is not defined. Okay, we don't know what exactly that value is. So we just go for this one, that it is undefined. All right. Let's talk about another question. So this time around, the question says, the equation of the line through minus 3 and 5, and that is perpendicular to this is what? Now, this is very simple. The only thing is we need to write this in a simple form, and that is I'll make y the subject. So 2y equals minus 2x and minus 3. Sorry, it is simple x. So yeah, I'll just drop this. Okay. So we have x plus 2y plus 3 equals 0. I need to make y the subject. For that, I will do minus x and then minus 3, right? Okay, that's good. And then I will make y the subject. So that is going to be y equals minus x by 2 and minus 3 by 2. Okay. Now, for this question, we know that the equation of the line which we want to find is of our line would be 2 because it would be negative reciprocal. If the slope is 2, this means that we would be having y minus plus x1. Okay. Obviously, I need to plug in the values of x1 and y1, but before that, I can cancel out some options, and they are D option and C option because the coefficient of x must be 2. Okay, now let's just plug in values. It would be y plus 3. And finally, I am going to get y equals to x plus 6 plus 5. And that is going to be y equals 2x plus 11, right? So this means that I can take this y to this side and I will get minus y. So the answer is B. Now, obviously, yes, you should solve the question completely and then claim any answer. But honestly speaking, in case of NUST entry test, you won't be having that much time. So it's good that you cross out the options which you find wrong immediately. All right, let's talk about the next question. So it says, which pair of lines are perpendicular to each other? We need to find the derivative and then we would be able to do it. Okay. By derivative, I mean slope, right? So slope of each line. Let's find the slope of this line. So it is going to be okay. So it is going to be 2y equals minus 2x plus 1, and y is going to be minus 1. So for this line, we have y minus 1, but for this line, it does not look like y is 1. So clearly, I will not check it out and I will cancel this. Okay. Let's check the B option. For B option, we have 3y equals minus 4x. Forget about the 7. When I will take this 3 to the other side, I will have minus 4 by 3 as the slope of this line. Then this line should have the slope 3 by 4, but I see that the coefficient of x is 2, so it does not look like the slope would be 3 by 4, right? So let's just cancel out this option as well. Let's talk about the third one. For the third one, if I look at the equation 1, it says 7x minus 3y equals 17. So that is 7x minus 17 equals 3y. When I will divide 3, it would be 7 by 3. 7 by 3 is the slope of this line. For the line perpendicular to it, it should have negative reciprocal. So that would be minus 3 by 7. And yeah, it does not look like that because the coefficient is 5. Let's talk about this one. Now for this part, we know that the first equation is x minus 2y minus 6. Let's just calculate the slope for the first line and see. Obviously, the answer is going to be D because we have cancelled all other options, but still we need to check that. So it is going to be x minus 6 equals 2y. And when I will divide it, I am going to get m is going to be 1 by 2. So for the other line, it should be minus 2, and it certainly looks like that. Minus 2x plus 5, and yeah, the slope is negative reciprocal. So the answer is D. So we know that if two lines are perpendicular to each other, their slopes would be negative reciprocal of each other, right? Okay, let's talk about some more questions. Okay, now here's the next one. So it says point of intersection of pair of lines this and this. Now this is very easy. We just need to solve it simultaneously and we are good to go. So I can just, this is the second equation. This is the first one. I'll use 2 to make y the subject. So I can write it as 2 implies y equals minus 3x. I will use this value in 1. So that would be 7x plus 2 into y. So I will write down the value of y, that is in terms of x. 7x minus 6x equals 6. So it means the answer is x equals 6. Okay. And the only option with x equals 6 is A. So I will take that directly. And if you have time at the end, you can just double check. Now it's very obvious if x is 6, y is minus 3 into 6, that would be minus 18. So that would be the answer. Okay, that is good. Let's talk about another one. So it says, which point is above the line this? Okay, now we need to make this line. Now let's say this is 4 by 3x plus 1. It has negative x-axis, and it would be passing through this point. So it would be something of that type. Now, obviously, this is very obvious that D would not be the answer because it would be under the line. This would not be the answer because it is passing through the line. And it is minus 3 as well. So it would be somewhere here, not the answer. So if I talk about A had minus sign basically. So that would be somewhere down the line. So it would be somewhere here, there again down the line. And if I talk about C, so it would be above the line. It would be above the line somewhere here. So this means that the answer is C. Okay, so for such questions, the best idea, the best solution is just to make the line and then think about the points, right? That would be quicker. Okay. And let's talk about the next question. So it says the distance of the point. Now this is easy. we just need to use the distance formula. So that says distance, the formula is a fraction. We have mod over here only x1. A is the coefficient of is -7. That is why we have mod, because distance can never be negative, plus b plus c, that is this point, it is 13, divided by under root a squared, that is 1. Okay, so it looks like the answer could be D, but let's just check that. Okay, in the numerator we have minus divided by, in the denominator is going to give me 12 by under root 5. So the answer is D. So this was again simple, but you only need to learn this formula and you are good to go. All right. Okay, let's talk about some more questions now. Let's see, what do we have? Okay, the next question says, which is the intercept form of this equation? All right. Now, is it y equals mx? So obviously it is not, because this equation is this one. It has p. So this is a, and if I talk about c, so no, this is not the answer. Again, we do not have cos and sine, and we don't need to write it in those coordinates. So the answer is none. All right. Okay. Let's talk about some more questions. Okay, so it says the slope formula is given by y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. That would be C option. That's very simple at the formula. Okay, so it says the inclination of any line parallel to y-axis is right. Now, inclination means basically the angle, right? If something is parallel to y-axis, it obviously means that it is 90 degrees away from the horizontal. So if I talk about this in radians, that should be pi by 2. So the answer is A. So they have just used different wordings. Now it says if they have the same slope, obviously, right? So if two lines are parallel, that is only possible when the slope is same, okay? Then yeah, it says the inclination of the x. Okay, now we have another one. It says the equation of first degree in x and y represents a, so we know that y equals x, something of that represents a line. That would be line. Okay, let's talk about some more concepts. Okay, so it says the measure of the angle from the first line to the second line whose slopes are 0 and 3 is. All right. Now for this question, we need to understand one thing. If a line has slope 0, it would be a horizontal line. And then if a line has slope 3, we have a specific formula. We just use the slope and we do tan inverse. It would be tan inverse 3 and the answer is B. If we had any other line, but in this case, since it says first line has slope 0 and the other one has slope 3, so that is why we're doing it this way, okay? Because we would have done this and then tan inverse. Okay, let's talk about another question. So it says the equation of the line through the points 2. Now we need to find the slope first. So m is going divided by x2 minus x1. This will give us -3 divided by 5. Okay, so just pick up any point. Let's say 2, 4. So it is going to be y minus 4 minus 2. And yeah, now I'll take this y to that side because I see it would be 5y minus 20 plus 6. And I can take everything to the other side and that will give me 526 equals 0. So the answer is clearly B. So I've just taken minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1 formula, and I've just used the equation of a straight line. And yeah, that is it. And that is how I got B as the answer. So I'll rub this. Okay, let's talk about the exam because they're very important and they're very easy as well. The equation of the line through minus 1, 3 is very, very easy. Perpendicular to this line, that would be having m minus 2 by 3 because let's just use the equation of a line y minus y1 equals m, and that is y equals minus 2 by 3x. Yeah, so instead of doing this way, yes, I could have done it that way, but since directly take 3 to the other side, and that would make it 3y equals minus 2x minus 2. And yeah, I don't need to simplify this further because I've my answer. It should be. So yep, that is how we do these questions. Okay, let's talk about some more. So it says the equation of the line through the point minus 2, 1 and the point of intersection of the lines this and this is, have to find the equation of a line that is passing through this point and the point of intersection of that. And yeah, now that is easy. We just need to first spend some time in. So we have 4x equals 1. X is going to be 1 minus 3y divided. So this is the value of x. And I am directly going to use this in the other equation. So it is 2x. Instead of x, I will use the value 1 minus 3y divided by 5 equals 0. I'll rub this just so 1 time and 2 times. And finally, I have 1 minus 12. So basically, I've just taken the LCM and I've taken 2 minus 15 equals 0. 11x was 1 minus 3 into y. That would be 11 by 5 over 4, 20. Okay. Yeah. So we are getting such values. And once we are going to get both the coordinates, this point of intersection, and for this point, we will just find the value of m and we will just plug in the equation of straight line. So that is going to be 8x plus 51y minus 35. So you can check that on your own. When I was doing my calculation, that was B, okay? So you can just check that. There should be some homework for you guys as well. Okay, let's talk about the next one because I want to cover more questions. That is why I'm skipping. Through x2, y2, parallel to this line, the slopes would be same. So I'll make y the minus p going to be minus p by q. I have to use these values. So the answer is going to be y minus x minus x2. Extra things that are the calculations for this one. And this is going to be y minus y by qx plus p by q to the other side, and that is going to give me qy minus then plus px 0. So this is the answer. Let's see. Coefficient of p should be x. It's x everywhere. Then of q should be y. Minus qy2. We don't have that over here. We have means that the answer is going to be D. Okay. That's good. Wait, just so I could write things. Okay, to the topic analytic geometry. We have discussed a variety over here. Type in the comment section below and I'll try answering you guys.